Good morning, everybody out there on the East Coast. This video is being shot right now at about 15 minutes after 11 on the West Coast, where I'm at in Arizona. My name is Ron Tucker, and this is my fourth video. The name of this video, of course, my channel is called Ron's Talking. Is anybody listening? You can check me out at Ron's Talking on YouTube. And I want to thank everybody who takes a look at this video. I hope you find some things I'm going to say this evening that's going to be insightful and maybe give you cause to think about some things, maybe not, but that's part of the whole thing. These are my comments. These are my thoughts, my opinions. I may be reading some things that come from the news wires and whatnot, but at the same time, I'm going to tell it like it is, put my spin on it. If you disagree, understood, that's fine. Welcome it. If you agree, that's great too. This is America, and everybody has the right to chime in and give their own opinions and their own assessments about different things that's going on in our world. It was a heck of a week this past week. The weekend wasn't too shabby either as far as the news is concerned. Let's talk about a few things. First of all, let's start with the Democratic National Convention. It was a rousing success by any measure, by any means, by any standards. It just blew the roof off of everything. The Republican National Convention a few weeks ago, in comparison, I kind of liken it to, let's see, the difference between a funeral ceremony versus a celebration at the Mardi Gras or a concert at the Superdome. There was really not much of a comparison. Even the celebrities that both parties entertained were just in total stark contrast. When you had, Hulk Hogan at the Republican National Convention, Kid Rock performing, who else? Luminaries like Amber Rose. I'm trying to think of anybody else that was there that was noteworthy. Rudy was too busy stumbling over chairs and everything to make his presence felt, except he did make his grand entrance in that area, in that way. I'm trying to think, was there anybody else? I mean, I know Hulk Hogan was having a hard time trying to rip that cheap t-shirt he had on, so he made a splash there. Who else was there? Man, it was so many right-wingers there that had their fangs out. I can't remember all of them, but the majority of them, let me put it like this. Let me sip of this coffee. The Republicans put together and assembled a motley crew that really had nothing else to say except trying to bash the Democrats like they always do, trying to bash Kamala Harris, just trying to do what they do best, which is have grievances, griping, complaining, bitching and moaning about everything that they've never done themselves, but they want to hold the Democrats responsible for everything, especially Kamala Harris, because she's now the clear and present danger to one Donald Trump, who's trying to win re-election. It's just unfortunate that we have a group of people on that side that knows nothing else to do but be aggressive and attack people that are honestly trying to help this country move ahead. And it's hard for this country to move ahead when you have people who not only are election deniers, they deny the truth, they believe in a man who has no vision for this country other than what he can get out of it for his own personal gain. This has been going on for 8 years and it continues, and it's amazing how we still have people on that side of the fence who still believe that this guy's going to do something miraculous, like do his job. When he had the job, he didn't know how to do it, and he failed miserably. That's why he's no longer in office. But that and those facts seem to fall on deaf ears with the Republican Party. Well, what used to be left of it. So anyway, let me look at a couple of things here. According to Raw Story, on Tuesday, a process is going to begin that could ultimately decide whether Judge Cannon will retain control of Trump's unlawful retention of documents down in Mar-a-Lago. According to former prosecutor Joyce Vance, special counsel Jack Smith is going to open a brief that's going to be due to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, and basically he's going to contest whether or not Judge Cannon acted lawfully in her assessment that his appointment as special counsel was valid or not. Therefore, she decided to go ahead and dismiss the case. Now, we all know what went into that. Her whole decision making was an opinion from the esteemed Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. But that's what went down. She did what she felt she wanted to do, not had to do, but wanted to do, because she knows she's in service and beholden to Trump for giving her that judgeship. So we'll see what happens in that ongoing battle. Who knows how long it's going to take for it to be adjudicated by the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. But I think Mr. Smith has pretty good standing. He's got good grounds to get this thing overturned and hopefully have her removed. And since she wouldn't recuse herself, just get her out of the picture so this thing can be handled properly by a competent judge. Lindsey Graham, one of Trump's best buds, he was at his bootlicking best, trying to downplay Trump's diss of him after Trump said that on CBS that he doesn't care what Lindsey Graham has to say, because Lindsey would not have been reelected if I hadn't endorsed him. So Lindsey Graham, of course, started trying to downplay what Trump said and started skinning and grinning to the host of the show that he was interviewed at, and said, oh, well, President Trump's done great things, and gas prices was at $1.87 when he was president, and blah blah blah. So he just went on a little word salad because he felt he had to say those type of things to keep himself endeared to his benefactor. And so he continues to free fall as a man of any kind of character, any kind of courage. That ship sailed a long time ago with Mr. Graham. So, of course, Trump was still at his belly aching best in this morning after being cut off a few days ago on a Fox telephone interview after the DNC convention that blew the RNC funeral ceremony, as I call it, off the planet. 14 million views on the average for the RNC during their 4-day run, compared to 20 plus million for the DNC. Now, Trump still salty about Kamala Harris and her address at the convention. She's not having success. I'm having success. I'm doing great with the Hispanic voters. I'm doing great with black women. I'm doing great with black men. I'm doing great with women, well, except his wife, Melania, because women want safety. Did you hear that? Let me say that one more time. Trump says that women want safety, so apparently that means they want him back in the White House. I don't know if he's kidding or is he drunk. He's claimed he don't drink. Well, he probably needs to start drinking, because if he thinks that women are looking for him to protect them, this Hannibal Lecter fan, I'm sure E. Jean Carroll and those young girls that were running for Miss Universe in 2015 feel very secure with him around. Now, some of those young ladies were as young as 15, and in some cases, they were completely naked when old Don Juan walked in and looked around and determined that his presence was needed back there with those girls. Okay. Now, he also did it in 2001, allegedly, according to a young lady named Tasha Dixon, who was a former Miss Arizona. And he stated to Howard Stern in 2005 that as the pageant owner, he was entitled to inspect it, and so I sort of got away with it. That's Trump. As predatory as they come. That's him. Now, aside from that, which it seems like those kind of things are always swept under the rug with Trump, just to illustrate Trump's fear of Kamala Harris, and he's crying like a baby that needs his Pampers changed right now because they're getting soiled. He crying that she should not be allowed to run for president because he claims Joe Biden got all 14 million votes and she didn't get any. So he claims this is a threat to democracy. Really? You call Kamala Harris a threat to democracy? Let me unpack this. Let me see. You run it down. When you were first president in our dark history in 2016, weren't you the one that had 2 Russian diplomats in the White House after you fired Comey, trying to get rid of that Russian interference with the election? And your 2 Russian pals were just yucking it up in there with you. You felt it necessary not to have any American journalists or reporters in the room, but you allowed Russian reporters and journalists in there. Now I'm trying to figure out how you consider yourself being such a stalwart and protector of our democracy when you're cozying up with the Russians in that type of scenario. Come on, Trump. All right. Well, we all saw that, and of course America was still in shock that you won the presidency, so I guess they let it slide like so many other things have slid with you. After that, and I think maybe Mike Flynn was on his way to jail after he got busted by the FBI for his espionage acts and treasonous acts. Let me see, what else was going on with old Trump? Because he was real busy now, playing golf and grifting and stealing and everything else, getting 9 patents for his baby girl from China. Okay, well, let's move on through your sordid tenure as president from things like that. And there's so many things and so numerous, I can't name all of them. Of course, I wouldn't even try to waste anybody's time trying to recount all the indiscretions and transgressions that this fraudster put on us. Well, I just go to the big ones. COVID, when it came along, you feel miserably. You didn't do nothing except freeze up, clam up, and then try to blame Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx because you didn't have a clue, but you were acting like you were the chief medical officer of the United States. You were the Surgeon General. You were everything. You weren't nothing but a coward, a scared fraud. That's all you were. That's all you've ever been. But you tried to wish the virus away, and it didn't go away. You didn't advocate for vaccines or masks or nothing until it hit your ass. And when it hit you, you masked up at the appropriate time when you caught it. When it set your butt on fire, you own a mask then, you and your wife. But anyway, after that, here comes the impeachments. And we all know why you're still around for the most part, because the cowardly senators that we had at the time, and some of them still around. That old crow that you call old Moscow Mitch McConnell, All of them, they let you off the hook. Not once, but twice. They could have stopped all this carnage and all this hand-wringing and gut-wrenching things that we've been going through as a country, because we're still being held hostage by Donald Trump and his persona. You individuals in that Senate and the House Republicans as well, the real blame for us having to still deal with Trump is with you folks, okay? And so after the impeachments, here comes January the 6th. And even today, you got Republicans still talking about it wasn't really as serious as people try to make it out to be. How serious did it have to get? A number of people died on both sides, but police officers died as well. It's mind-boggling how so many people on the right side of this thing look at a riot, an attack on our nation's capital by a bunch of renegades, misfits, terrorists. That's all they are, domestic terrorists. And Trump and his crew, they still maintain and still insist that wasn't that bad. Because even right now, Trump is talking about having some kind of celebration for some of them, and he's going to pardon all of them if it's up to him. But he claims that Kamala Harris, who ain't never engaged in none of this stuff I'm talking about right now, she's a threat to democracy. Really? Come on. Come on. Okay. Well, I'll move on. Because, I mean, this just, he's incredible. Okay. Well, anyway, things like right now, former President Trump, he's having second thoughts about debating Kamala Harris now on ABC. I wonder why. Maybe he knows it ain't gonna be a good deal for him in the long run. Maybe he really understands now the gravity of where he's at and what's gonna most likely happen when he gets up on the debate stage and can't lie. Well, what am I saying? I must be losing my mind. He gonna lie, because that's what he do. He gonna lie. But he's not gonna be able to lie with impunity this time and have somebody who's gonna be hemming and hawing and stuttering and stammering. Not saying President Biden was, I can't categorize him as being in that state of mind and his performance wasn't that bad, as I'm embellishing. But I think y'all catch my drift. I don't think it's gonna be too many brain cramps on the stage with Kamala Harris as opposed to Trump trying to wriggle and weasel his way out of answering questions, which is his penchant. We're gonna find out really, once and for all, what Trump is really made of. We already know, but see, with him, he gets all these second and third attempts and multiple bites of the apple that everybody else doesn't get. They're not afforded that accommodation like he is. So we just got to do it all over again, this time with a different challenger. We'll find out. We'll see. But one thing for sure, Trump is worried about this woman. Because he's losing in the polls, but he keeps claiming to anybody, like he always does, that if you hear him talking, he's leading in the polls. He'll never admit that he's not. Of course, that's not Trump. That wouldn't serve his purpose whatsoever, to tell the truth, because he don't want to hear the truth. That ain't his best friend. So again, there's a contrast of the candidates. I got a little list here from A to I that compares Trump versus Kamala Harris. Kind of goes something like this. A, is Donald Trump a con artist? Yes or no? I would say yes. He's a con artist, a consummate one. Is VP Harris? No. B, intelligence. I would say, yeah, Trump's intelligent. If it's criminal oriented, yeah, he checks off that box. Is VP Harris intelligent? Yes, highly. But again, if you heard Trump talk about it, you know, we've heard him before. He's the most intelligent person we've ever seen in history. He's numero uno when it comes to IQ. There's none better. He can't be surpassed. Remember, he keeps crowing about how he passed that cognitive test. I mean, that's one of his crowning achievements. He kept telling everybody how, you know, he passed his test and no one else could, and Sleepy Joe or Crooked Joe, depending on what day of the week when he wanted to call him one of the other names, he couldn't do it. I challenged him to take that same cognitive test I took. He never passed it. He'd never be able to do it like I did. I aced it. So I think it kind of went something like this with Trump. He's so proud of that little test. They probably asked Trump, Mr. Trump, thank you for taking the time to take this test. You're welcome anytime. Anytime. I always welcome the chance to show off my genius. Oh, yeah, okay, Mr. Trump. Check this out. Here we go. We're going to do it like this. We want you to name and identify these animals, okay? Okay, let's go. Let's do it. I got things to do. Let's go. I'm a busy man. Okay, former President Trump. You can call me President. No. We'll call you former. That's what you're. I can just call you Donald if you want. Well, let's get on with it. Okay. Mr. Trump, what is that animal right there? It looks like a tall horse with a long neck. A what? It looks like a tall horse with a long neck. Very long neck. How about a giraffe? What? Maybe. Okay. Next question. Oh, okay. What is that animal there, sir? I'm glad you called me sir. I love that word, sir. Well, most people call me a sir. Okay, sir. Well, get on with it. What's that animal right there? I think, well, me, that's a hippopotamus with a long nose. A what? That's a hippopotamus with a long nose. Sir, that's what they call an elephant. You ever seen one of those? Maybe. But it looks like a, yeah, okay, we know. A hippopotamus with a long nose. Okay, sir. This is the last question because I know you're pressed for time, like you said earlier. What is that one, sir? It looks like a fat pig with a horn. A fat pig with a horn? Are you sure, sir? Yeah, this is what it looks like. It looks like Chris Christie. Sir, that's a rhinoceros. You know, they call it sometimes a rhino for short. All right, rhino. Yeah, I know what a rhino is. That stands for Republican in name only. I told you that was Chris Christie. He's a fat pig. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to say that. But that's what it looks like to me. A fat pig with a horn. Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And have a good day. Folks, Mr. Trump, former President Trump, Donald J. Trump, the convicted felon Trump, he is a menace to society, and he truly is a threat to our democracy. And I'm sure all of you understand that and know that. So the main thing we have to remember is to make sure that we get out there and vote, make sure we put him on the sidelines so we can let the legal system deal with him the way they should deal with him accordingly. Okay? And it's a little running for president so he can turn the world upside down with his Project 2025 initiatives and all that. We got to kill that and make sure ain't happening. You had your shot the first time, which was a big mistake. You ain't getting another bite of the apple, bro. It's a wrap. It's over. And I can't wait till September the 10th. We're going to see if you're going to show up for that debate. Now you watch. In the next few days, he's going to be trying his best to figure out a way to get out of this. He'll probably have to show up, because if he don't show up, that's going to be just a fatal blow to his chances. He's damned if he do and he's damned if he don't. So there we have it. I'm glad he's in that situation to box his ass in and make sure that he has to show up. Last little thing I have to say on this video. This story might be kind of graphic for some. It might be a little squeamish. It's bizarre. I've got to talk about it for a second. There was a woman in Ohio. Some people might know of this story. She was arrested for allegedly stomping on a cat, killing it, and then eating it in front of her neighbors. I'll just process that for a second. I know the price of choice cuts in the grocery stores are kind of high right now. But damn, she wasted no time, didn't have time to cook the cat before she ate it. She ate the cat in front of her neighbors. When the police showed up, she had blood in her mouth and fur in her mouth too. They confiscated what was left of the cat as evidence. You got some restaurants in Vietnam, at least they cook theirs. They said some investigators found that there's a slaughterhouse that drowns damn near 300 cats a month and then serves them to the Southeast Asian countries that wants it, where eating cats, it's a common practice, common theme with them. You better have about 9 lives if you're a cat in Southeast Asia. I believe in reincarnation, but I hope if I come back as a cat, it'll be a tiger or a lion, not some raggedy ass alley cat. And for sure, I hope the good Lord don't drop me over there. Because if he do, I know I'm through. Because they taking them out like ain't nobody's business over there. So I just want to leave you folks with a little bit of this, a little bit of that tonight. Don't hesitate to comment on the things that I said. I hope some of the things I said were uplifting. I know that last little story was, kind of out there, but we got those kind of situations and stories going on in this country. And don't forget for 1 minute, or don't think for 1 minute rather, that I've forgotten about stories like Breonna Taylor and what this judge has done to throw a little bit of love to some of those police officers that murdered her. Now they're trying to make it seem like her boyfriend, he's the one that precipitated everything and caused her death. Not those cops who ginned up and wrote up some fictitious warrants and all the stuff they did to prompt the action to get it started. Now, how in the hell you gonna charge, allege that Breonna Taylor's boyfriend is the reason why she's dead. You cops came in there under false pretenses from the get-go. If y'all hadn't falsified those documents and the warrants and everything, she'd be alive today, most likely. And if she did die, it wouldn't have been at the hands of you guys, you cops. So it never makes sense to me how not so much law enforcement, but people in the judicial system, like these judges, like this judge that rendered this decision, trying to protect those cops' flank, knowing that they're guilty, knowing that they're wrong. Living in America, okay? And then here's another story that went down about this cop. I believe it was in, I'm not sure whether it's Florida, Texas. I can't remember the exact state now, but I believe it was in Florida. This young soldier who answered the door when the cop showed up. The young soldier had a gun in his hand but was pointing down towards the floor. When he opened up his door, the cop immediately opened fire on him. Killed him. Shot him up. And then after he shoots the kid, he thoughtfully told him, drop the weapon. I think it was a little late for that. What's that old adage? Shoot first, ask questions later. Now, and you know, his defense was he felt his life was threatened. But they fired his butt immediately. And it turned out he was there on a false domestic disturbance in the first place. Now he's on the run. They got a warrant out for him, but he hasn't turned himself in yet. So there you have it. But once again, shout out to my main man, Tim Scott, you know, Senator of South Carolina, who maintains there ain't no racism in America. Black people ain't really got nothing to worry about. Is that right, Tim? Nothing to worry about. Because, you know, you're a benefactor. Your boy, your love interest, you may have got married on paper. That may make it official. But see, we know who you in love with, for real. You told us all on national TV. When you hugged up and looked at Donald Trump, you couldn't wait to come around that podium and look him in the eye and say, I love you. Come on, man. You know your wife's always going to be looking at you with one eye now. Trying to make sure that you don't slip out that door trying to go find out how you can get over there to check out Trump and get with him. But see, you got to remember something, Tim. You second fiddle, because Kim Jong-un, he got first dibs on that. So just remember that. But you get too cocky, you got to stand in line, because everybody's kissing that ring. And, you know, I think Byron might be right in front of you too, Mr. Donalds, down in Florida. But I'm just saying, I don't know what y'all got going on with Trump, but, you know, that's y'all business, of course. We won't never tell, because we won't never know, will we? And the funny thing is, last but not least, I've been wondering for a long time, it ain't really none of my business, you know. I don't really care one way or the other, for sure, for real. I just be wondering about Lindsay. Now, I'm just throwing this out there. I ain't never seen Lindsey Graham with a woman, period. Yeah, I don't need, is he married? I don't know. I mean, does he have a girlfriend, a significant? I don't know. It's such a, well, I don't know if it's a secret or not. It's just hard to say. If anybody got any information on Mr. Graham's, I guess his romantic endeavors, hit us up, let us know. I'm just curious. I mean, everybody talks about everybody else's personal business on the gossip lines and stuff like that, and inquiring minds would like to know. I'm just curious because if he's happy with somebody else, maybe on the other side. Again, I ain't got nothing against people who, if he's a switch hitter, I just like to know who he playing for. I'm just saying. Anyway, y'all have a wonderful day, everybody out there. Thank you for taking a look at my video. Hope you subscribe to it. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Keep those down to a minimum. And just watch yourselves. Keep your eyes open. Stay alert. Stay vigilant. And, be a good person to the best of your ability. Okay? I will talk to you folks later. I'm out.